We're here at Book Passages in Corte Madera, and Ben Fong-Torres has been signing a book after doing a talk presenting what's inside and the story of putting together Willin', the Story of Little Feet by Ben Fong-Torres. And look behind the desk, there's Ben. Hello, Ben.
Hey, Paul, what you heard today was all off the record, so don't use none of it, all right?
Well, you know, we know that Little Feet, the name, came from Jimmy Carl Black in The Mothers of Invention, and we know that The Mothers of Invention had Lowell George in it, and that, according to what I know, at one point Frank Zappa just told him, "Man, you're just too talented. Why don't you go start your own band?"
Well, that's one of many stories that have different tellings. I think Willin' comes into that too.
Right.
It's been said that when he heard Lowell's song, Willin', that's when he kind of got rid of him that way by saying, "You're just too talented to be staying with me, man." But many people thought it was the weed, whites, and wine line that got the anti-drug Mr. Zappa worked up, and he couldn't tolerate that. He had no patience for druggies in his band.
No, ironically, since he smoked tobacco and eventually that got to him.
Yeah.
So this book, in your talk, you mentioned that it was really an effort because of all the conflicting stories and you know, your personal sojourn in the last couple of years with losses in the family. What was the best part of doing this book?
Finishing it. Turning the damn book in. The best part was, I would say, discovery of music, because truth be told, I was not an avid fan, but listening to those first several albums in succession and then going on from there, and then dipping back to the earlier things with the Factory when they were doing demos for Frank Zappa and Herb Cohen and other people who were interested in Lowell's talents. It was really quite a journey in music discovery, looking back on how they formed, how they progressed, how they fell apart, the rebirth of the band after Lowell's passing, and how they did so well for a while. And then, of course, the whole music industry changed, and that kind of stacked the cards against them in terms of getting major record company interest. But on the other hand, along with that came the grassroots movement. People who were just avid fans, who just loved them and went to work for them. And it was patterned after political campaigns, where they used people in different parts of the country to stir up energy and get the people out for the vote. Here it was to get people out to go buy the latest CD or to go to the concert and buy merchandise or enjoy the music and share the music, a la the Grateful Dead. And so that came into play and has actually kept the band still vital to this day. Pretty amazing for a band that started in the late 60s.
Well, we know that a lot of bands that I've always considered Little Feet musicians. They have a lot of fans amongst the musicians they played with, bands that they've opened for or middle for, like the Doobie Brothers, and thus Bruce Cohn booking them, Bruce the manager of the Doobie Brothers, at his winery, the B.R. Cohn Winery, for the Fall Music Festival and for tours since they originally went out on a Warner Brothers tour when they were early fledgling bands. What do you think the impact of your writing the book Willin', which is just a beautiful cover, by the way.
Thank you.
Really nice. What do you think it'll have in the impact of the long-standing movement to try to get them inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland? Because they're an oversight, like the Doobie Brothers are an oversight, number of bands.
Yeah, well, that was one of the impetusi for them helping me to do the book. They realized that it would not hurt to raise their profile and to have a book out about them. Yeah, and so they are very aware that they are deserving. I am totally with them about, at the very minimum, deserving to be nominated. It's a difficult process, and that's obvious given the many artists who have not yet been considered, who have been qualified for more than 10, 15 years. It's pretty amazing. So it's a tough battle, but something like this doesn't hurt. Those tribute albums based on their music, the admiration that is obvious from bands that are more contemporary, like Fish, all help. I don't know that there's an ongoing actual campaign to get them nominated and voted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, but it certainly is a frequent subject of conversation among Little Feat fans.
I believe it's a Facebook group that Little Feat deserves induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
All right, well, I'm going to like that page.
Okay. Thank you, Ben, and thanks for being here and continuing to write great books about the musical history that we share and we all love.
Thank you, Paul. Pleasure.